Hello everybody and welcome back to Ys for the Dawn of Ys. I did the pre-grinding, I bought the buckler, now let's see what this mine has to offer us. Okay, this dungeon is in the fine tradition of places like the Rastin Mine and the Limewater Cave and all those other limited visibility places. The thing about dungeons in Dawn of Ys is that they tend to be short but intense. They're full of things that can hurt you really badly. However, if you know the way you're going, it doesn't take very long at all. And, as you'll see here, sometimes if you don't know which way you're going. I had a vague recollection of where I needed to be in order to get through this area. But my memory was not all that great. Thankfully, this place isn't nearly as punishing for poor directional sense as some of the later dungeons in the game. However, it's best to keep your bearings, not that it's all that easy in a place like this. In fact, I think I'm faster going through this place than I am leaving it. Anyway, bump combat rules still apply. Let's see, it's this way. Ah, there we go. Which leads us to our first boss, who's something of a pushover. Look at this splatterhouse garbage. Get out of my Ys. So you just need to poke the weak spot, which switches to another side, poke it again, and repeat. By the way, a small note about this game. For bosses especially, this game really likes to use that effect of games that run on 60 frames per second. Of making sprites absent every other frame in order to give a false transparency effect, which doesn't actually show up that well at all on YouTube because of how it encodes videos at 29.97 frames per second. And as usual, bosses get a bit tetchy if you poke them too much. This one's almost done. Magic Pixel. That won't save you, though. Like in previous Ys games, bosses give fixed experience.
Lemnos!
We must protect Lord Slanos' tomb from the clan of darkness.
Lemnos! What in the world happened to you? He'll die if we don't get him some help. Adolf, we're going to take Lemnos back to the village. Be careful on your way back.
So that's one dungeon complete in less than 5 minutes. So I think we'll do another one. By the way, there's something I passed by on the way to the boss that I'll be stopping by on the way out. But still, I don't know what went through their heads to begin with a dungeon in the style of one of the most hated dungeons of Ys 2. No, wait, Ys 1. Ys 2 had a mine, but not the really aggravating kind of Ys mine. Ah, that locked chest has the power ring. We can't get it now, but we should be able to get it pretty soon. And I'm going to make sure to get it this time because the power ring is absolutely essential for Dawn of Ys. You could ignore it in Ys 1, but not in this game. And we out. Yeah, another thing about Dawn of Ys is that it's a very boss-dense game. A typical decent playthrough will take about 7 to 7.5 hours, and there are 15 bosses to deal with. In my current route for the game, there are going to be around 3 videos where I have to fight 2 bosses. Oh, Lemnos, is there any game is there any Ys 4 where you don't get turned into a monster? No, this is a perfectly reasonable add-all demand. Okay, as far as Karna goes, something ludicrous is about to happen. Because she got knocked out by this loser. And we're going to see how ridiculous that was once we actually get into the next dungeon. Okay, Karna will be joining us again. And Karna just rips right through all of the monsters around here. The fact that one of these losers actually knocked her out is pretty ludicrous from a game perspective. So I decide to stop and grind, which isn't easy because Karna kills everything that moves, and she doesn't even need 6 bullets to do it. But this can actually be a pretty nasty spot because there's a lot of narrow fighting in the game where attack positioning is very important. That entrance you saw briefly to the left is a place we can't really access until quite a bit later. It contains something really great, but we can't get it yet. Now, this sounds more like late-game dungeon music than early game. In fact, they actually used this music for the Temple of the Sun in Mask of the Sun. So I guess Tonkin House thought so too. So there are a few reasons I actually decided to pick this up again, even though I said I wouldn't do it. First, of course, is the dub patch. And the rest has to do with learning how to actually play the game, because I thought Adol was feeble, but then I learned some tricks. Number one was actually using the power ring. I guess I was tricked by East One in thinking that I only needed the shield ring to get through, but I was wrong. The other reason, well, I'm gonna talk about that once I've finished this playthrough. Another locked thing. This is beginning to remind me of my Resident Evil days. Everything's locked. Yeah, Connor will catch up. Yeah, we need to take the top path first, because the bottom one is kind of blocked to us right now. There's really not much more to say about this dungeon, as it's not really technically complex. By the way, we will be getting a lot of use out of this. It's not like it's only a one puzzle solution like it was in Ys 2. This game draws out a lot of elements from Ys 1 and in Ys 2, because it has Ys 1's rings, but also quite a lot of Ys 2's magic. Here's where we use it. By the way, the treasure box key we got here also opens the... oh my. It opens the box that has the power ring. We can go without it for now, but I'll definitely be going back for it at least off-screen. So caving in that walkway fills in a lava gap there, which allows us to proceed to the final part. Yeah, I know, the monster variety doesn't look that great, but it's gonna get better. Right now it's fast monster and slow monster, but that'll change. Ugh, Karna got really stuck on that terrain. Oh, she's there? This is a new addition I like, because in the Turbo CD version and earlier versions of Ys 1 and 2, it would automatically use a heal potion if you found one in a chest and already had one in your inventory. So this is Slano's tomb, and it's the first of many tombs we'll be exploring in the game. If you'll remember from Mask of the Sun, Slano was one of the 5 disciples of LaFonce. Let's take a look at the enemies around here. You know, before Karna kills all of them. 30 experience? Be back in a bit. Okay, now I'm 1 level higher than I probably should be for fighting this next boss. The two bosses have their own boss music called A Great Ordeal, and it is awesome. The tomb bosses are also generally pretty hard. The strategy you see me use here is pretty much the only viable strategy for avoiding his attacks. And he's only vulnerable when the armor is floating around on its own because, I guess, it's not superheated. Though, don't stand in the fire, get out of the fire, why are you in the fire? It may seem a bit easy, but the thing about bosses in Dawn of Ys, in general, is that they don't demand huge difficulties in actually avoiding what they do. However, you have to do it a lot, and the punishments for mistakes are pretty high. So they're kind of like Dark Souls bosses in a way. I'm able to take some hits because I over-leveled, as is the way I do things. But later on, it's not so much the amount of damage you can tank, but how much damage you do to bosses that are more of a determinant of your success. Because a long boss is a risky boss. And even then, a lot of the bosses in this game are pretty long. Like, I'll be lucky if it takes 10 minutes to beat the final boss of this game. Magic, Pixel. Now I can take another round of attacks. And there we go. There he goes.
I have awaited your arrival. My name is Slano, strongest warrior of the ancient Celcitan dynasty. Foolish ones now seek to open the sealed gate. Rather, they are already in the process of doing so. There is precious little time. We need your strength. The flames of justice will consume the evil ones. I will now grant you the ability to use magic.
So we got magic, and that has gotten a huge nerf since the Turbo CD version of Ys 1 and 2. Also, unlike Ys 2, not all bosses require magic to beat.
Adol? You're okay. What on earth happened? Oh, what's that wand? Is that the treasure?
Indeed it is.
Who's there?
We've been unable to figure out how to get that door open. Well, I guess we're in your debt.
Are you people the Clan of Darkness?
That's right. I'm Gaddis. You'd better just keep quiet and hand over that wand, cutie.
I am Bombi. I don't care if you insist or not. You're all going to die either way!
And I am Garuda. That mystic one's very existence in this world is a hindrance to our plans. Bami, kill them.
Nice dodge! But look at the wall behind you. Surprise! I can transform anything into a demon. Now, my lovelies, kill these two!
Ooh, real threatening.
You're not half bad. But this time will be different. I'll turn you both into horrifying monsters! Huh? What the?
Damn! This is all we need. Luck is on your side, you two. Let's go!
I bet that Master Solana was angry. Adol, we need to get out of here.
So, speaking of 90s anime, Gaddis was originally voiced by Tesho Genda, who basically made his career on playing big, tough, strong guys like Toguro the Younger in Yu Yu Hakusho, and he actually reprised his role as Gaddis for Memories of Salsetta some 20 years later, which I think is great. Also, Garuda in this fan-dub patch is voiced by Masako X of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Well, and Naruto Abridged. And I didn't quite know he was an Ace fan. Oh well. Oh good, we'll have to go see him. Okay, the Wind Flute is basically the game's hint system. However, it also has other functions that we're going to be exploiting later. It's related to one of the possible side quests. You know, as opposed to impossible side quests. Sure do.
You are Adol? I'm told I owe you my life. Yes, those three were the ones who turned me into a demon. Their leader is a cruel and murderous man named Garuda. And there's a savage giant, Gaddis. But the most dangerous is probably the woman, Bami. She changed me with her sorcery into that thing. Anyway, please be careful. That's all I can tell you for now. Please, be careful.
Well, I'd say that's enough for now. So, next time on Ys 4, The Dawn of Ys, we will actually be heading into the Great Forest of Celceta after healing up. See you then!